In this video we're going to look at how you can use the Tree Control Genie in Alpha 5's HTML editor to quickly insert a dynamic tree control into your HTML A5W page. In this case I've created a quick page as an example, which might be to send an email to a customer. We've got customer, subject, and message, and what I want to do is I want to create this customer input. I want to turn that into a tree control that shows the bill state, bill city, and then the customer information, and on the server I convert that into an email address. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the HTML editor, we're going to go to the source tab, and we're going to right click inside of the source tab, and we're going to say Genies and select a Genie, and then we're going to select the Tree Control Genie, and that brings up the Tree Control Genie. The first pane on the Tree Control Genie asks us what type of data we want to do. We want to do a simple query, complex query, or static data. In this case we want to start with a simple query. We want to start with the DBF data type, and we're going to choose the customer table, and we're going to insert bill state region, and then we're going to insert bill city, and then the last level down we're just going to put first name. But what we really want in this last level is we want it to be first name plus last name plus customer ID, so we're going to convert this into a complex query. And then we're going to go down to this last level, the first name, and we're going to bring up this the expression builder, and we're going to copy first name and paste it and change that to last name, and then we're going to add customer ID onto the end, and we end up with an expression that looks like that for the node. And we're going to then copy the expression also to the order, so that's ordered alphabetically nicely on that. And then we're going to hit next and go to the next pane. And in this pane you can choose an action that you might want to perform when the user makes a selection. In this case we just want to get the data. We don't want any action, so we're going to leave it as none. On this pane now we have general settings and appearance. And what we want to do, the first thing we want to do is we want to change it from a dedicated page, which would mean that it would call back to get data from a secondary page that we then need to specify a URL. We want to actually call back to itself. It's the same page that actually has the tree on it. So you can change that to local. I happen to know that the customer input here has an ID of customer, so we're going to say that we want to fill in customer. And then we're going to make just a couple of changes to the styling and specify a class. This is for the div that will contain the entire tree. And we say done. And now what we have is we have a modeless window that shows us everything that we need to insert into the page in order to make this tree work. And it also has help that should explain it fairly thoroughly. First we have the HTML. We want to insert the div, and we'll insert it right there. And then we have JavaScript, and we want to copy this JavaScript to the clipboard and insert it in a script tag. Then we've got the actual Xbasic. This is split into three parts for the instance when it's actually done on the same page that the code, the tree, is being displayed on. The first thing you have is the initial code, which needs to go all the way up at the top and only needs to be put on the page once. Then you have the wrapper code, which goes all the way down to the bottom, and that only needs to be put on the page once. And then you have the Ajax code, which gets put on the page for each individual. If you're doing more than one tree, you just put both trees inside of this section. Next you have the theme. This basically applies some styling so that the tree looks nice. So we'll just copy that and paste that in there. And lastly you have linked files. These are JavaScript files that are required to run the tree. I'll just insert that there. And we'll close this down because we're done with that. And we'll save and run it and see what we get. Now we've got this. When we click and we make a selection, you'll see that's filling in customer ID. The last thing we'd want to do is we want to go down to the input and say that the type is hidden, and save it and run it. And now basically you'll see that we no longer have that input there. It's still going to be filled in with the value, but we only have the tree.